Hello everybody, I'm Tony Craig, this is F1 Grandstand and this is your daily Formula One news. And yes, there is a lot to get into today. It's the first day of the Barcelona behind closed doors test. Aston Martin are going to be late to Barcelona. Police were causing mayhem, stopping fans from getting a sneak peek on track. Who got red flagged, who was quick, who wasn't so quick. We've got some sneaky pictures as well from the test. And we're going to take a look at the Red Bull, their quite different side pod design compared to everybody else. McLaren, we're going to talk about McLaren Shakedown livery. Is it a win or not? Return of the Rake, is it back? And Audi's new signing. So yeah, we've got a lot to get into. Chat's already kicking off. I'm going to say hello. Let's have a look. Who's in the chat? We've got DT in the house, drop tuned, Gemma, queen of the chat. Sema is up early morning over there in Australia. Jaman's in there as well. Cyber Red also in the house. Yeah, everyone's in. Love it. And if you are watching for the first time, and even if you're watching on replay, make sure you get in the chat and have your say on tonight's topics. But if you are an F1 fan, you are in the right place. Subscribe if you haven't already. Smash a like on the video if you do enjoy it. And also, if you are going to subscribe, make sure you've got the bell all icon ticked. That way you can control and you decide what piece of the content that you engage with. So yeah, let's get into it. So yeah, Barcelona, baby, all start today behind closed doors. Except we were expecting Aston Martin to arrive tomorrow to be on track by Wednesday. Unfortunately, Aston Martin have got some problems. They did announce today that they're going to be late. Oh, who wants to be late? Like, you don't want to miss another day of testing, but this is what is coming out from motorsport.com. Aston Martin Formula One team has announced its intention to run Thursday and Friday in Barcelona, which means it will only use 2 of their available 3 running days. Aston Martin, oh dear me. Aston Martin is also racing at 8 o'clock to make it to the event. Previously reporting the Silverstone squad would miss at least Monday and Tuesday. But it doesn't matter if you miss Monday and Tuesday, because all teams are only allowed to run for 3 days anyway. So yeah, basically a spokesperson for the team has now confirmed that Aston will try to run its brand new AMR 26 from Thursday onwards, meaning Alonso and Stroll would get to run 2 days out of a potential 3. The AMR 26 will be in Barcelona later this week for its shakedown. Our intention is to run Thursday and Friday. That's what they told motorsport.com. But they're not the only ones to miss Monday and Tuesday. McLaren and Ferrari also missed the opening day on Monday, but they do intend to run on Tuesday. And the remaining 7 teams all started today. And we got some data, some track data that came out from the track in a very unusual way. Some clever person worked out how to, I don't know if they hacked into the track's system and then published it, because I can show you what it looked like. So this is what it looked like. Or maybe I can't show what it looked like. I thought we could. Basically, they did show some data for the morning session. And in that morning session, Isaac Hadjar was quickest. But what I heard about the afternoon session was that George Russell was second quickest. But Isaac Hadjar going out in that Red Bull was quickest. So we want to take a look at other problems that were going on there before I show you some pictures from Barcelona. The first thing, the unpleasantness. Let's start with the unpleasantness. So we know Aston Martin are going to come Thursday, Friday. What's the impact for them? Well, 2 days of running still should be okay. It's not as bad as Williams, who are not showing up at all. Why are they late is the big question. Well, we think it's to do with weight. We believe that the Aston Martin car is 15 to 20 kilos overweight, that's a heavy girl. So they are having problems with weight. Williams, we know they were having problems with weight with their chassis and also with their nose cone not passing the safety test. But with Aston Martin, I think they passed all their safety tests. I think it's to do with weight. They're trying to reduce weight. That's what I'm told. We will see on Thursday. But yeah, that's the big news. Aston Martin won't be there. I don't think it's going to be the end of the world. 2 days running. The only thing is, none of us have seen that Honda engine in the car yet, have we? Out on track, where we've seen the Mercedes and the Alpine do well. In the Mercedes, it's done well. We will see McLaren running that engine tomorrow. The Ferrari looks pretty good as well. The Red Bull engine's looking pretty good. They didn't have any real big problems, did they? So Honda do need to get some runtime in the Aston Martin. So 2 days, is it enough? Well, I'd say it probably is. That they're probably going to be all right. It's a disadvantage, but they'll be there on Thursday. So we will get a look. Well, we won't get a look, but we'll get some leaked information because the teams are only allowed, right, to release 6 pictures each a day from testing. I mean, I don't understand it. It's more locked down than Area 51, right? Like, the cars have done pretty well. There's not been any major calamities where, cars got out on track and they were all doing a reasonable runtime. I mean, you look at Esteban Ocon, he did like 60 laps in a Haas. Again, Ferrari engine. It's good news for Ferrari. But yeah, this I thought is a bit. So the security clamped down outside outside Barcelona. What they did was they closed roads and viewing spots all around the track and moved fans away, even though they had a vantage point on the track. And their argument was, yes, you're on public land, but because you're filming the track and the track is private land, you're not allowed to do it. I'm not sure what the actual legal position is in Barcelona about that. I always thought that if you were filming from public land, there's not much you can do. But the police were there. Apparently, they even had plain-clothes police officers moving the fans away. I mean, come on. It's not like the best-kept secret in the world, is it? Like, the cars are just doing a shakedown. All the teams are seeing the other teams. So what's the problem? I mean, I think it was... I think it was overkill. I think they should have allowed the fans to get some images. I mean, I don't know what you think, but to start moving people on, I thought was a bit harsh. Are you all just talking about weather? 17 degrees in Michigan. It's bloody cold here. It's probably because of the money from BARCA. Exactly, Sudrish. So Sudrish has nailed it. Why were the police moving people away from those public spots to get some footage? And Sudrish says it's probably because the money from Bahrain. They probably wanted to be the main broadcast test. I don't know what they would still publicise Barcelona as much as they would have, though. So what Sudrish is talking about is Bahrain have paid a lot of money to be able to for the media to be allowed to film at their test. But they can't, they're not filming the whole test. They're only allowed to film the last hour of testing in Bahrain. And of course, Sky Sports will be there. We'll get the footage on Sky F1 and ESPN, and everyone else around the world will get that footage. But yeah, Bahrain paid for it. They wanted to be the official place where you got to see the cars in all their glory for the first time. But yeah, I thought it was a bit naff, really, that you're moving people away from public spots. But we did get some pictures anyway. We'll show you, because there was a couple of incidents today. Yes, we had some great... Well, I mean, we've got to take all this with a pinch of salt. It's day one of testing. The main thing is, it's a shakedown. So is there any glaringly obvious problems with the car? And the good news for most people is there wasn't. The cars handled shakedown really well. They had no engines blow up. They had no bits fall off the car. There's a couple of guys with some problems, a couple of red flags, one for Colapinto, one for Bortoleto. But on the whole, pretty much incident free, and it would have been fine. Honestly, it would have been fine for people to watch this. But yeah, it was pretty fine. Shaitan says this is way worse than Aston Martin, and apparently latest news reports saying that Aston Martin are now apparently to be under 10 kilogram of excess weight when they were initially about 15 kilograms overweight. So you're saying now that Aston Martin have gone from being an overweight to underweight? Well, I'd rather be underweight right now, wouldn't you? 15 kilos over is not ideal. So yeah, but let's take a look at some of the stuff that we've got here. So here is, so Audi confirmed technical issues as Bortoleto triggered a Barcelona red flag. We've got a picture of it. It's not the best picture, but that's Bortoleto in the Audi pulling over on track. Audi confirmed, yes, they did have a technical problem. But yeah, they just pulled over on the side of the track. No flames, no drama, no engine blowing up. Just, there's probably quite a few software gremlins that they're trying to work out, actually. But Audi have been pretty impressive to get a car out the way they've done it. Obviously, Sauber looked a lot better towards the end of the season anyway. But they are they've provided their own power unit. So Audi actually are looking still in pretty decent shape, if you ask me. Another red flag was Alpine. That's Bortoleto. Sorry, Colapinto. Pulled over at the side of the track. Looks pretty good though, doesn't it? The Alpine livery. I mean, I know it's, listen, they've gone with a if it ain't broke, why, it doesn't need fixing scenario. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. They've gone, it's a very similar livery to last year, but it's still nice. And Colapinto was actually, in the first half of the session this morning, was actually third quickest. But they did manage to get some laps on the Alpine. And again, running that Mercedes engine, which is, a lot of people are saying, Alpine finishing P10 last year, that, and this is going back to what Flavio Briatore said. He's expecting Gasly and Colapinto to be challenging for P6 and P7. I mean, that's a hell of an improvement if they are, but that's Flavio Briatore. So yeah, slight issue there with Colapinto, but they were back up and running. And star of the day, this is a little picture we managed to find of that Red Bull, Isaac Hadjar. Quick, he did a 1:18.5, I think he did, which was the quickest lap of the day. Now, don't forget, pole last year here was like in the 1:11s. We're not expecting to see that sort of time. We're not expecting to see pole times. But the real comparison is, testing last year, they're not far off the similar. They're a second slower. Hadjar's time was a second slower than the fastest time in testing, same comparison last year, which actually isn't bad, because people were talking about these new cars being a couple of seconds a lap slower than the 25 cars. It's yet to be seen. But the Red Bull, but here's the thing I would take away if I'm a Red Bull fan, is that Red Bull Ford powertrain, no problems, no engines blowing up. So far so good for Red Bull and Ford. And speaking of Red Bull, it brings me on to this design of because we actually saw now for the first time, the Red Bull is, the actual aero design of the Red Bull is very different to the V-carb. And actually very different to most cars on the grid. They've gone with this really interesting Coke bottle shape side pod. It's super aggressive, channeling the air in a way that no one else is doing just yet. Everyone else has gone with a more sort of bulbous side pod, where Red Bull have gone with a really narrow, a really narrow side pod. And It's a clear difference, and the most notable change relates to the side pods and side protection next to the cockpit. In particular, it can be seen that the volumes of the side pods, especially at the rear, have been greatly reduced, creating a distinct Coke bottle shape. This is particularly beneficial for guiding airflow towards the rear of the car. Now, to achieve this, an internal aerodynamic layout with a multi-layer placement of radiators and heat exchangers has been chosen. Now, this is the concept that Red Bull had tried in the RB20 with varying results, but also of particular interest is the air guidance integrated into the rather large cockpit protection area, shaped as a mini bazooka. The rear opening blows air into the same area where Ferrari has the bypass duct, and in addition, it's noteworthy that these additional forward-facing openings have allowed the power unit's airbox to remain relatively compact, despite being larger than 2025. Now, obviously what they're talking about there is we've all seen the V-carb airbox, which is honestly like an air conditioning unit. It's huge. It looks like E.T.'s head coming out over the top of the driver. Take me home. But yeah, that's what it looks like. But the Red Bull have managed to do something different. So it's quite interesting the way to see how they're channeling the air around the cockpit. And the other thing, I haven't got a picture of it, but you might have seen it already. They've got to the rear of the floor at the back, they've got these channel openings to sort of channel the air through to the rear diffuser, which there's a couple of other teams doing that. I think Ferrari are doing it, Mercedes are doing it. So that might be the way to go. Obviously, we've not seen the Aston Martin yet and see what aero ideas Newey's come up with. But I feel that Red Bull are, when you think about Red Bull channeling their efforts really to the end of the 25 season to help with upgrades for Max to channel for the World Driver Championship, it's actually pretty cool to see that Red Bull have already come out with a sort of a side pod design that's very different to everybody else. But I just think it's nice to see where they're going. Obviously, these designs will change throughout between now, Bahrain, all the way up until Australia. But I do think it's an interesting... it's interesting to see how Red Bull are already seem to be trying out something a little different before everybody else. But yeah, I was actually today, I was pretty impressed. And speaking of something else I was impressed with, which I need to show because we've got a poll running about this. And this is... Ooh, it's the McLaren Shakedown livery. We haven't seen it out on track yet. But what do we think of that? So this is tonight's poll. Is McLaren's Shakedown livery a hit? I'm going to go to the chat and see what you guys are saying. Nathan, welcome to the chat, my friend. Shatan's in there as well. Great to have you in there. And also Rohit. Great to have you all in there. So I'm going to start with Thane, who says, Hadjar wipes the smirks off Merck's face real quick. Yeah, so far so good for Hadjar. Sudri says, I'd love to know what tyre compound Red Bull were using today. They seem to intend to use a lot of softs in Barcelona from the sheets we saw yesterday. Well, obviously, if you're out on softs, you're going to get an advantage, right? I mean, have we even seen the new tyre compounds? Are they... Because the one thing about tyre compounds this year, they need to go off quicker. That's the thing. I hope Pirelli have got it right. And we need the softs to go off quicker. We need there to be a bigger, more degradation in the softer tyre. Nathan says, with the lap times being close, the faster times might not be able to be maintained for a lot of laps with new regs if your battery is gone. 100%. I've been going down the rabbit hole with what the drivers are saying about battery management, and truthfully, there's a lot of drivers I think that are going to take a minute to get to grips with it. It's because if you've got a circuit where you've got 3 long straights, how they manage that battery throughout the lap, because it's not just the attacking driver, is it? It's the defending driver, the car in front. And yeah, it's I don't know how it's going to work out. A lot of people say it might favour the PlayStation generation, the younger driver, but I don't know. I mean, efficient drivers are efficient drivers. And loads of them are spending time in the simulator. But it's going to be fascinating how they do it. Because, you know, just being balls to the wall quick is not going to cut it. It just isn't going to cut it. You're just not going to have the battery left in the lap. So balls to the wall quick's one point, but being clever and smart is 100% going to be a factor. So we might see a lot of these. We might see drivers like Bortoleto, Antonelli. You know, the younger drivers coming through. Even people like Lindblad, right? It's rookie season. This might suit him. It might suit him. Rake says other teams have a good balance of mediums and hards. For this test, Pirelli has provided C1, C2, C3. Okay, so right, we're okay. Right, well, like I said, until I see some long runs on the new Pirelli compounds, I can't comment on how good. And when I say good for the softs, I want them to be sticky, but I need them to come off. I need them to degrade a lot quicker, because we want to see the pit stops making a difference. We want to see really, I mean, we saw like people doing 45 lap runs on like on the hard tire, and we don't want to be seeing that. As impressive as it is, Kimi Antonelli, but you know, that shouldn't be happening. That shouldn't be happening. Krakite says lap times are just for fun and they mean nothing. It's still about 7 or 8 seconds off quali times. Yeah, you're right. You're actually right. 7 seconds off quali. It's really how long can the car go without having a problem. And we saw Esteban Ocon did over 60 laps in his Haas today. Good for Haas, but Ferrari are collecting a load of data from that as well, from their power unit. Again, me slagging off Ferrari's power unit, I might have been wrong. Thane says tyres are high deg this rear due to the increase in torque, but less in the fronts due to the reliance on engine braking. That's interesting. So you might get rear start stepping out. You might get twitchy rear ends far quicker, but still super grippy fronts. Yes, Andrew, welcome to the chat, my friend. How you doing? I'm doing good, Andrew. How are you doing? Today, you know what? I would have loved to have got more information. I would have liked more pictures, some video footage, you know, more comments from the drivers. We have got Bottas, by the way. We've got his comments from today. He was talking. We'll be coming to that later on in the show. Balam, nice to you in the chat, my friend. Hello. Shaitan says, I can tell you how concerning Williams' current situation is. Not sure if you haven't seen additional info. What's the additional info, Shaitan? Williams reportedly have failed 3 crash tests and their car is about 20. Yeah, you see, I know they had a weight problem with their chassis, but basically with their chassis like 20 to 30 kilograms overweight. And the crash test they failed is to do with their nose cone. Now, here's the thing about crash tests. Nobody wants to pass their first crash test because you're thinking, God, was there room for me to make this lighter? Could I have made this part lighter? So you don't want to pass your first crash test. You might even take not passing your second crash test if you're getting close to the limit, but you do want to pass your third one. You know what I mean? Jaman says temperatures for Barcelona test is only 15 or 16 degrees Celsius and 58 to 60 degrees Fahrenheit. Well, if the Mercedes is anything like the 25 car, Mercedes love cool, dry conditions, right? That suit them perfectly. Yeah, Sudri says, Lawson interestingly said today after testing, it seems that the drivers can potentially do a lot more to make a difference. I think so too. I think we've got Here's what I think about the new regulations and the driver having control of that boost button, which they can deploy that extra battery power at any point they decide. Whereas they were limited with DRS. You know, that's all they had. They were told when the DRS would open. We have these DRS trains, and the driver just didn't have enough control. So now what we've done is we've given the drivers more control, and we get to see who can actually handle it. Because Lewis Hamilton mentioned it. Do you remember the old KERS system, which deployed battery power? Nowhere near to the same level that we've got now in 26, but they have some experience of deploying extra power with that. But yeah, I think the drivers now, could impact the race far more than the car. Because let's say the drivers can't get to grips with this battery management and they're in a quicker car, but you've got someone who's brilliant at it. They just maximize. It's just another way to maximize the performance of the car. Shaitan says, well, that's the case with Aston Martin as well. They failed their crash test in December, but reportedly they have cleared the crash and stress tests. Well, that's good. Cyberred, I'm a Ferrari fan, but I feel terrible for Williams and Aston Martin. They're having terrible luck this year. You see, Cyberred, here's the thing. When we talk about Williams, I can't say that it's bad luck for Williams, I can't say it's bad because Williams, we all know, were an early adopter in 25 where they put all their resources onto the 26 car. We know they did. They were one of the first teams to say, hey, no more upgrades for you boys in 25. We're focusing on 26. So the fact that their chassis is between 20 and 30 kilograms overweight, and then they don't make it to Barcelona testing, it's an epic fail for Williams. Aston Martin, because don't forget, Williams have got the advantage, if we're led to believe it's true, that with the Mercedes engine. So the Aston Martin is slightly different. Brand new engine with Honda. I don't know. Adrian Newey's going to push the envelope when it comes to design and weight. I heard they were 15 kilos overweight. Obviously, you've been saying in the chat that actually looks like they might be underweight now. But a lot of other teams are right down at that. Audi are at the minimal weight. And Audi's first time out, and they've got down to the minimal weight. So really, for Williams, I don't have a lot of sympathy. I'm rooting for them because I love the glory days of Williams in the 90s, right? I remember Nigel Mansell, Damon Hill winning championships, being uber competitive, Alain Prost. But you know what? I'd like to see Williams with some glory days. I would. And I think it's sad how far they've fallen since those days. But I do see this uptick in performance. But Vowles, really, JV, this is on you, bro. This is on you, the team principal. There's something gone wrong. And, I don't know how they recover from this quickly. Because they're going to need to. They're going to need to recover quickly. But yeah, Adrian Newey will get there. They've got 2 full days of testing, and if he's pushing the envelope with regards to weight, crash testing, that sounds like Newey. But if he gets 2 days of testing, I think he'll be okay. I do. I don't think he's going to be that far behind the curve. I obviously think he'd rather have 3 days of testing. Ballum is a McLaren fan. Well, you got to wait till tomorrow to see how McLaren do. But don't forget, we are running a poll. What is McLaren's test livery? A win or a loss? I'll give you a quick update on that now while we're here. 60% say yes so far. 40% say no. I actually like it. I'm in the yes category at the moment. Jaman says, how much of that control will be handled by the race teams and programmed by race strategists? Well, right. So I was thinking about this. Did you know that the boost button will only... So this is how the boost button works. So let's say the maximum horsepower available from the battery is 440 horsepower. Whatever setting the car's running on, so if they're running slightly different settings on the car, as soon as a driver pushes the boost button, the only setting, no matter what's going on with the car, is we give you the full 440 horsepower. There's no variance. So as soon as a driver pushes the boost button, it's full power that the battery can deliver. There's no varying degrees of that. So really, that I'm interested to see how that's deployed in the car. I think there's going to be a lot of drivers push that at the wrong time, and we're going to see drivers going off track. That's what I think. That's what I think. Sema says, surprised they're overweight for Williams. Me too. Not everyone would be logged in, so they can't vote, I'd say. Oh, yeah, you have to be logged in to vote. That's true. You need to be, if you're watching right now on the live show, you need to make sure you're logged in to vote. Ballum likes it. I like it. It looks like I don't know. I do like it. Sudri says, I'm sorry, but to me, the McLaren test livery just looks like a bunch of brand stickers stuck on black. Yeah, well, I suppose, yeah, that's okay. The real livery not look like that. The real livery is going to be orange as hell, isn't it? It's going to be orange, isn't it? I'm guessing. But we'll keep that poll running till the end of the show. So I've got a load to get into. God, I've done half an hour on this. But Barcelona test is one comments I did want to get into because Gemma, Queen of the chat, loves a bit of Bottas. It seems every team, we're going to go to what some of Bottas's comments because he was able to shed some light on the Cadillac out on track today. And so Bottas hinted that problems struck all teams during the opening day of testing, but claimed that's the purpose of running, to debug all of the 26 cars. So Bottas told Formula One TV it was cold, early morning. It's quite hard to get the tyres to work here, as we know, but as the temperature picked up, things got better. We had some issues throughout the day, but it's debugging. That's why we're here. And it seems like every team had some issues. It's just now really figuring out those and then getting more and more running each day. But it's just great to be here and in the car. It's definitely a big difference to before, said Bottas. The cars, they handle different. They have a bit less load, especially in the high-speed corners. And what he means by that is it's a bit less downforce, a bit less grip. The power unit, you have so much more torque out of the corners, which is good, more punch. And then you have the battery to manage. And again, for Ferrari, that's Cadillac, obviously, you know, Cadillac's engine supplier. This is the first proper day of running with the power units. So naturally, there is a learning curve. So still lots to learn, lots to improve, but it's quite a challenge for every team. And priority list now is getting the runtime, getting more laps. I think I've got a bit more than 30 laps today. Some of them just kind of installs and stuff while they're installing different software, etc. But we need to get some proper running in, get the mileage in, and make sure we get a reliable package for race one. Sensible comments there from Bottas, but it does give us an insight onto what it's like in Barcelona. So Bottas giving, you know, honest answers to F1 TV. It's all about debugging, and most of the cars expect the same thing, because remember, each team can only run one car on track at any one time. Well, they only bring one car, they can only test one car, so each driver drives the one car. It's debugging, it's putting in software, it's changing software, it's making sure the engines don't blow up, it's making sure things don't fall off the car, it's making sure there's nothing massive problems that are going, oh shit, we got this wrong. And Cadillac, good news for Cadillac actually, because I was saying, oh, Cadillac might be a bit worried about the Ferrari engine, but actually Haas did 60 laps, Bottas did 30 laps, Ferrari's done quite a few laps over it for Fioranella, I can't say it, Fioranella, why can't I say Fioranello? Oh my God, it's been a long day. Yeah, so obviously Ferrari's test track, that they did a load of laps. So the Ferrari engine is looking pretty good. So that's good news for Cadillac. Good news for Bottas, and they have a great livery. Oh, gosh. So, yeah, it's nice to hear a driver tell us about the first day of testing. We'll see more running time from them tomorrow. Well, we'll hear about it. And we'll get to see, obviously, McLaren out on track as well. So, yeah, Bottas feeling confident. I mean, I don't know. I mean, Cadillac have got a massive hill to climb. First season out, and it's an all-new team, isn't it? They haven't bought a team like Audi or taken over, took over a team like Sauber, like Audi have rebranded it to become the works team. Cadillac are literally coming in as a brand new team. So anything better than last this season is going to be a result. They have some lofty targets though. They want to get a podium this year. And if they achieve that, that would be remarkable. Cyberez said, Ferrari's engine looking good so far. Totally agree. And I'm so excited about Cadillac. I believe they're going to do better than most people think. I think they could do better than I've been saying. I've been saying if Cadillac finished better than last, it's a result. But the Ferrari engine's looking better than I thought. They've gone a different way with the steel cylinder head. Was it the right way? it could be proven, yeah, it could be the right way. And the big thing for me is Hamilton and Leclerc look pretty happy after their testing. So, yeah, I don't know. Ferrari could be the one to watch. They could, it could be it could be a monumental turnaround at Ferrari, which would be great news for Fred as well. Keep him in a job for sure. Because I said it in the show yesterday, the expectation from Ferrari for Fred to keep his job, if he gets to the end of the season, is that Ferrari win a world championship, as Fred promised when they took him from Sauber. What was it, when he left Sauber? So, yeah, it's he's going into his 4th season now, so Fred's got to deliver. What Balance says, Ferrari's test gone bad? No, Ferrari's test gone well. Ferrari's test looks pretty good to me. We'll see him on track tomorrow. Well, I keep saying we'll see them on track tomorrow. We won't, because it's a behind closed doors test. But we will definitely get some information out from Barcelona tomorrow, because we're expecting Ferrari to be out on track with McLaren tomorrow. So we'll see. But yeah, good news. But I also want to get into another big point about the 26 car. It's the return of the Rake in 26. Gone is the SF lift and coast of the 25, of the SF25. It's return of the Rake. And the race talked about it quite well today. Return of the Rake. Now, first of all, what is Rake? It's when the back of the car is higher than the front of the car. Now, all cars are going to be able to operate at a much higher ride height than we saw in 25, because now with the ground effect era, it was all about creating that air skirt around the car, sucking the car to the ground, running the cars as low as possible, and there was a tiny window of optimum performance. Now it's different. Now we've got some mechanical movement in the suspension. Now we've got a much higher ride height, and now we'll go back to seeing the return of the Rake, which is the back of the car slightly higher, or a lot higher than the front. The cars will look slightly pointed to the ground, and this is what the race have been saying. Running low and stiff was the key for the past generation of cars, but now ride heights are higher. That means return of the Rake. So yeah, it's the idea is to increase the angle of attack of the wings and create more down force. The amount of rake you run on the car is really going to depend on your aerodynamic package and where your peak CLR is, said McLaren chief designer Rob Marshall. And we should listen to Rob Marshall, because he did a pretty good job of aerodynamics on the McLaren, didn't he, the last couple of years. So he goes on, old Rob. He says the intention of these regulations was to try and force the rear ride heights up, and our feeling is that will be the case. How high they go, we don't really know yet. How long you can go, we don't really know yet. There's a big journey to go on next week. Well, that's this week in Barcelona, to try and find out where best to operate the car. Running high rake is traditionally when you get a bit of free angle of attack on your wings, and if you can get the aerodynamics to hold on, then it's great. It offers you the opportunity to have more suspension travel as well as other sorts of tertiary benefits. But ultimately, you're chasing the peak of aerodynamic performance, and you want your rear end to follow it. That might be high rake, it might be low rake. I don't think it'll be low rake, but it might be less high than people think, or we might be higher than I think. I don't know. Ask me in a week's time. So Rob Marshall's basically, don't want to give all the game away, but he's basically saying, like what we all know, we will see the return of the rake. So we won't see all of these disqualifications like we saw with McLaren in Vegas, like we saw with Ferrari in China. Long gone will be the cars running illegal ride heights for 26. And also Alpine's technical director, David Sanchez, says that it's not as extreme as previous cars. And that means for the driver, you have a little bit of a wider window to fine tune the mechanical side of the car. You're not anymore dealing with a car that has aerodynamic peak, which is really narrow, even to the detriment of how the car is running. These new cars are a bit more adaptable, and that should be more comfortable. And then Mark Temple says the same thing. You don't have the extreme sensitivity to ride height that we had in previous years. A little bit more freedom to manipulate the car attitude to affect the handling without just simply making the car go slower. It'll be interesting to see what that does. I think it will give us all a little bit more freedom to tune the car to suit particular handling through corners. So what does all this mean? I've rushed through all of those comments from the technical directors from Alpine, Rob Marshall, and others. And basically what it means is, because the cars are going to operate at a higher ride height, we might see adaptable rake. The rake will be higher on some circuits than others, but it allows the teams to adjust the sensitivity of the car by adjusting the rake angle and adjusting ride heights without the risk of detriment of the car's performance. The operating window is far higher. So we will see teams playing with that throughout this season. Thane's in there with the super chat. Thank you so much for your super chat, Thane. Thank you very much. If Toyota doesn't want to fully enter F1, could we see a Toyota Ferrari dual power unit like Red Bull Racing Ford? Toyota has the most advanced solid state battery tech. That's interesting. That's interesting, because no one's talking too much about battery tech. The only thing, which is why I'd say Ferrari wouldn't do something like that, is I think Ferrari are the only team to really been talking about their advancement in their battery tech. Now, they weren't talking about solid state battery tech like Honda have been talking about. They were basically talking about being able to reduce the size of their battery, the weight of the battery, and still deliver the performance in accordance to regulation and performance that they would want from the battery. That's the only thing I've heard about Ferrari's battery tech. But solid state battery tech is going to be the future, according to Honda. Honda say they're nearly there with it. They're not running it now with their power unit, obviously, but Honda seem to be pretty confident. And if Honda have got it, then you're absolutely right, Thane. Toyota have probably got it as well. I don't know what that means, because could you see a situation where Toyota supply a battery to Ferrari and white label it? Ferrari say it's theirs. I don't know. Could you see that? Possibly. Would Ferrari want to put Toyota's name on it? And could we see, this is interesting, could we see power unit suppliers that supply the ICE and have a different partner for the battery? I mean, that's an interesting concept moving forward, isn't it? I don't know. I don't know how that works, because they bundled in the battery tech, haven't they, and the battery into the power unit customers. I don't know whether it's a good question. That's a regulation question I don't know the answer to. If I'm a Mercedes customer and they're supplying me the ICE, but I'm not too happy with, but I guess the battery integration to how that power unit works is so intrinsic to the entire power unit package. Would we see teams going to get an ICE from one manufacturer and a battery, and then having to integrate that into one power unit? I don't know. It's an interesting idea. Could we see that in the future? I don't know. Because we're going to find out pretty damn soon just how, if there's somebody, like the first person to a solid state battery, for instance, the impact that has on the performance of the car. And I've just seen Jaman's comment there. Could we see a Cosworth Toyota combination? If that's, I'd say, Jaman, that's the type of collaboration I could see. I could more see a new power unit coming to the grid, right? And that power unit being a combination like Red Bull Ford. So you could get Cosworth Toyota, or how about this one? Cosworth Tesla, right? I don't know. I could see something like that happening. Someone who's brilliant at developing engines and ICEs, pairing up with somebody brilliant like Tesla. Why not, right? And then they deliver a power unit opportunity. Could I see that? I don't see why not. Unless Elon Musk has got an aversion to Formula One, whether that would be detrimental to his brand. But I think not. If he's only doing the battery tech, why should it be detrimental? I don't know. But yeah, I could see that, Jaman. I mean, why not? Why not? And if they did that, why not get the best of both worlds? The best battery manufacturer in the world. And Cosworth, they're no slouches at building engines, are they? Something like that, I think, would be brilliant. I think that'd be brilliant. I think, do you know what, Jaman? I think you should send a strongly worded email to Cosworth and try and get that going. Thane says it would be for all Ferrari engines. If Ferrari want to win and battery tech is causing them to fall behind, they could be open to a partnership. That's true. If their battery tech's not good enough, I can't wait to see the first solid state battery and see the impact it has. Thane says Lucid is the partner in Formula E. I would go for them over Tesla. Really? So Lucid, do you think are the best? They've got the best batteries in Formula E, have they? I could see something like that. I could. Look, I don't want more and more association with Formula E, obviously. But, you know, I could definitely see that type of collaboration with a power unit, an engine manufacturer thinking, how can we bring a solid power? I mean, look, you know, if you get a new team to the grid, yeah, it's possible. I do think it's possible because each team's got $135 million per year cost cap for their engines. I think it's 135, isn't it? Yeah, 135. So, you know, it's not a bad amount of money to develop an engine. It's possible. Coming back to talking about the V10s. Yeah, Nathan, one day V10s and sustainable fuels. I'm here for it. Yeah, and Crackite and Gemma says, great for the tech, but let's leave that stuff for Formula E. Yeah, Crackite's in agreement. Rohit says only the OEMs can make that decision, and it would give poor optics to say Mercedes if they partnered to someone else because their own battery isn't good enough. Can't see any OEM doing that. Yeah, it's not great for the brand, but maybe I don't know. It's an interesting topic of conversation. That I think we have to watch this space to see if anybody comes up with that type of collaboration, because it could be the answer, couldn't it? It could be great. Thane says Lucid is pretty advanced. I'm not sure how their solid state tech is coming along, but power density with lithium ion batteries with quick recharge is best in class. Well, they might. Maybe they could be a great partner for someone. Cyberhead said, is it true the FAA are thinking about bringing back the V8 engines around 2029? Yes, they are, Cyberhead, according to Toto Wolff. I did a whole... if you look back through some of my videos, I did one said the V8s are back, baby. Toto Wolff said that all of the team principals were talking and with the FIA, and they believe that the sweet spot for Formula One is V8s with sustainable fuels. So yes, there was talk that they wanted to bring them back as early as 29, but then Toto Wolff then said, we can't do it that early. We need to get all the value out of all the development we've done out of this regulation cycle. So it's going to be 2031. But V8s are looking like that's the sweet spot at the moment. That's the conversation between the consensus between the teams, and that's what Toto Wolff said. We covered it. We quoted the source. I can't remember what it is off the top of my head because this was actually a couple of months back. But have a look for that video. It's V8s are back. It was from a month or two ago, but it covers that exact topic. I think you'll like it. So yeah, excuse me. So the return of the Rake. We're going to see some cars jacked up like drag racing. Possibly. Right, what's my next story for tonight? We've got loads in tonight's show. Oh, yes. This was the final story for tonight before we resolve our poll. Don't forget we've got a poll running. Is McLaren's Barcelona Shakedown livery a win? Yes or no? Audi sign Formula Regional Champion as their first academy driver. Welcome, to Formula One periphery, Freddy Slater. Who is he? So we did a little bit of digging. You might know him better than me. So to give you an idea who this kid is, reigning Formula Regional European champion Freddy Slater. He's managed by Formula One winner, 3-time winner Alan McNish, who won with Audi on 2 occasions. Audi have signed him. He's 17 years old. So he's won the United Arab Emirates. What's wrong with me? Am I having a stroke? The United Arab Emirates and the Italian Formula 4 Championships in 2024, then the Formula Regional European Championship last year with the Prima outfit, both occasions, and he was previously a European and World Karting Champion. Not a bad pedigree for 17 years old. What Rennie Rosen said about him was his work attitude, his dedication. He's really into all the details, trying to push really hard, all the boundaries to the extreme to get everything done perfectly. He pushes the team forward. He just works harder than anyone else. He has the raw speed, innate talent, but on the other hand, there's his determination. He knows what he wants. These are the key aspects for him. He's now going into Formula 3 with Trident. And, you know, some of those champions, you know, Gabriel Bortoleto, Leonardo Fornaroli, Rafael Camara. And so, yeah, it's early days. He's 17. He's got a good CV so far. See how he does in Formula 3. Audi's first recruit to their driver academy. Why am I talking about it? One, I think it's nice to introduce new names who could be stars of the future. But also, I think it's that we see Audi's intent now, don't we? Opening up a driver academy. Their first signing, there would have been competition to sign this lad, Freddy Slater. And they've got him. And I think Audi, going back to Audi's comments at their launch event, Audi are here to stay. They've got targets of winning a world championship by 2030. They've got 2 good drivers. They've got Bonotto. They've got Wheatley. They're assembling a good team. And I think Audi doing this and showing that they're serious about their driver academy. These are the guys that are going to win the world championship potentially for Audi in 2030. So it's good news. And obviously Slater said Audi is a brand with legendary motorsport history, which is true. And to have their trust and support at this crucial stage of my career is a dream come true. I'm fully focused on working hard and making the most of this pivotal step towards my goal of reaching Formula One. And because he's the first driver in the driver academy, maybe we'll see him out there getting some FP1s this year, getting some early experience in F1. So yeah, star for the future, Freddy Slater. Good news for him. In the news today, good news for Audi by the looks of things. And it's nice to just shine a little bit of light on the new talent coming through. And who knows, maybe he'll be Audi's first world champion. I'm going to go to the chat. Jaman, this may be a way for Horner to start a 12th team. We're talking about the Horner situation. I gave an update on Horner, actually, I think yesterday's show. It's all looking pretty good for his 24% purchase of the 24% shares in Alpine off Otro Capital. I think it's all looking pretty good so far, unless he gets somehow a better offer than he can produce and Renault don't want him. But I think Flavio's got that part of the deal taken care of. I think Flavio being Horner's Renault ally. But yeah, I think it's going to be Alpine. But deals fall apart. And if it does fall apart and Horner's got to go out there and find a whole new bring a whole new team to the grid and become the 12th team. Who knows who his power unit's who's going to supply him? Because he probably pissed off Ferrari because he doesn't want to be their team principal. Toto's not going to supply him with an engine. Audi probably don't want any customer teams. We don't even know if the engine's going to be any good. Red Bull, Ford powertrain. You can imagine them giving him becoming a customer team of them. That's not going to happen. So yeah, I think that's gonna be interesting. Drop tuned. He's got a rig. He's got a rig. He's got himself set up. Yes, so he's gonna be sim racing before you know it with us. Just need a PS5. Yeah, that's what I use. But you can do it you can do it on a PC or an Xbox. I've got a PS5. I know nothing about PCs really. All about Macs. Rohit, Jaman, it's not just the FIA. The teams also want it. The ones who didn't are the fuel suppliers, most notably Shell, who are in the biggest petro thugs around. Sustainable fuels are here to stay. Yeah, true that. Thane says, I doubt sustainable fuels will last too long. They aren't road reliant. Having a natural aspect V8 hybrid would still be road reliant, even if it's only for trucks and commercial vehicles. Yeah, because the V8 discussion for 2031, will it be a hybrid? Toto Wolff said it was going to be naturally aspirated with sustainable fuels. I find that part of Toto Wolff interview the bit that I'm unsure about. All this hybrid tech and all the money that's gone into it. Will Formula One go back to naturally aspirated V8 with brilliant sustainable fuels? Maybe Toto thinks synthetic fuels are going to be tip top by then, cheaper by then, and the hybrid part isn't necessary. But I just think with all of the hybrid developments and money that's gone into it, will the V8 still have a hybrid component? We will see. They've got a few years to change their mind about this and debate this, haven't they? That's the thing. DT in the house. Going to be a full grid on the F1 Grandstand Sim. Yes, DT. Yes, it is. It's going to be. That's what I want. Well, what I'd really like is to get eventually, like, you can imagine having our own esports team. I'm not saying we'll be driving for it, but we can get really good, unless we get really good, and get an esports team out there, start competing at the big events. Sponsored by F1 Grandstand. That'd be really cool. F1 Grandstand team. I'd love that. Rohit says, it actually depends on what you're talking about. In Southeast Asia and Africa, sustainable fuels are highly relevant. Electric cars are simply not feasible. I hope, this is what I hope. I hope that synthetic / sustainable fuels become super cheap, super reliable, and we're able to have, you know, the good old days of V8s, V10s, V12s, and cheap fuel. And we can all go around with our massive engines and enjoy the sounds of those naturally aspirated engines. That's what I hope. That is what I hope. Nate says that gloss is so nice and a hologram effect. Oh, right. Yeah, good point. I do need to resolve our poll before I go. I asked you the simple question. Is McLaren's test livery a win? We showed some pictures of it. I'm sure you've seen them all on social media. The results are in. It's closer than I thought. I was in the yes category, but 66% of you said yes, it's a win. 34% of you didn't like it. I saw some of the comments. It's a black car with stickers on it. And I guess that's not a bad description. I like the wheels. I like it. I'm a bit boring though, because I really love the Cadillac Stealth livery that they're running in Barcelona right now. The monochrome livery with the engine cover with the Cadillac logo, all the monochrome in grey, the names of everyone who has been instrumental in putting that car together. But I really loved that livery. I thought the Cadillac livery was awesome, their test livery. Yeah, we need a poll on all the liveries. When we finally, we should get all the liveries. I'll probably do that in the community tab, because what I can do is I can do a picture of each livery and we can do a full poll on the community tab. I'll do that. I'll do that this week. We'll definitely do that. Yeah, Cyberred, I like the Red Bull livery. It looks amazing. And the thing is, and now the Red Bull's looking like it's looking different to all the other cars. We showed some pictures of it tonight. The side pots are in a brilliant design. They've managed to not have a massive like air conditioner airbox. I don't know. The Red Bull's looking so far pretty damn cool. Pretty damn cool. Jaman says, I don't think Renault will give Horner the control he wants. I don't think it works for Renault or anything else. At this point, the 12th spot is more likely for Horner than a major manufacturer. I would have agreed with that if Flavio Briatore wasn't in the house, sort of handling the Renault side. That's why Horner and Flavio, you got to remember, Horner and Flavio go back a long way. It was Flavio that was instrumental in getting Horner his job at Red Bull as team principal. He was vouching for him with Massacic and Helmut Marko when they're putting the team together. They've been friends since 2005 and earlier. So the only reason why I think it'll work out at Renault is because Flavio's got the Renault part of it covered in Horner's defense for Horner. If Flavio left and then that's the problem. If Flavio left and someone else comes in representing Renault, then it could cause problems. But I don't know, possibly. But listen, I'm here for it. I'd like to see Horner racing on the grid, a full Horner team. I would definitely be here for it. Definitely be here for it. But yeah, that pretty much wraps up tonight's show. Thank you so. Oh, I need to end the poll officially. Hang on. There we go. Okay, yeah, so that does pretty much wrap up tonight's show. Thank you everyone for watching. It's been a fun one tonight. Quite a bitty show. Lots of different bits of news coming out from Barcelona. But let's see if we get some more news tomorrow from day 2 of the Shakedown in Barcelona. See what else comes up. Will Aston Martin make it there? Will they travel there tomorrow? Who knows? Hopefully they will. We should be able to get some news from them Thursday and Friday. But again, thank you so much for watching the show. I will be back same time tomorrow night, 7:30. I will see you all then. Enjoy the rest of your evening. Ta-ta.